Let's talk about something that every business deals with. Do you really know what's going on inside your own company? I mean, really know? Today, we're going to look at how you can stop guessing and start seeing what's actually happening.
First up, let's define the problem. It's this thing that pretty much every organization has, whether they know it or not. We're calling it the process blind spot.
I mean, think about it. If you had to draw a map of your team's entire workday, every single task, every little interruption, every time they switch gears, could you do it with any real accuracy? Yeah, for most of us, the honest answer is probably not. It's just a big black box.
And that, right there, is the heart of the problem. When you can't actually see where all that time and effort is going, you're not really making decisions. You're just making educated guesses. You're basically flying blind when it comes to things like staffing or figuring out how to make things run smoother.
What you need is a tool. Think of it like a digital stopwatch for, well, everything that happens in your business. Something that gives you the cold, hard data you need to finally see clearly.
And its job is super straightforward. It's built to survey and evaluate what's happening on the ground. To gather up all that raw data so you can actually optimize your workflow and plan your staffing with some real precision.
And the way it works is actually pretty simple. It really just boils down to 3 steps. First, you customize it. You tell it exactly what activities you need to measure. Then your employees do the surveying, using what's basically a PC-based stopwatch to log what they're doing. And finally, the fun part. You analyze all that data and start pulling out some incredible insights.
Okay, so theory is one thing, but how does this stuff actually play out in the real world? Let's walk through a case study about an insurance company that decided to put this exact tool to the test.
So here's the situation. The insurer's motor vehicle division was really struggling to figure out their staffing. They just knew their old methods of using historical averages, and let's be honest, gut feelings just wasn't cutting it anymore. They needed a system based on facts.
So they laid out a clear plan. First was preparation. They built a detailed model of all their processes and got everyone trained up on the tool. Then came the measurement phase. For 6 straight weeks, employees clicked that electronic stopwatch for every single thing they did. And then finally, it was time for evaluation, where all that data collection starts to pay off.
The first huge find was about how they were getting applications. The data made it crystal clear that manual submissions were a major bottleneck. So they took immediate action. They trained their sales team to push for online submissions and prioritize those contracts. The result? They boosted their online application quota by 15% in the first year alone. That's a huge win.
Next, they went after a problem we can all relate to: interruptions. The data showed that a shocking amount of time was being lost to incoming phone calls that just broke everyone's focus. So just by making people aware of the issue and training them on how to handle those calls better, they cut them down by a massive 20%.
So what did all these little changes add up to? Well, they saw a 7% reduction in the total effort it took to process an application. Now, 7% might not sound like a blockbuster number at first, but when you're talking about thousands and thousands of applications, that is a massive efficiency gain. And they found it just by looking at what was really happening.
No more guessing games about how many people they needed. They could finally say there is a fact-based calculation of personnel requirements. They had a concrete, data-driven way to figure it all out.
It's about a really fundamental shift in how any business can operate. A shift from just guessing your way along to actually planning for growth.
Before, you've got guesswork. You've got all these hidden problems you can't even see, and you're planning based on feelings. But afterwards, once you have this kind of transparency, you get decisions based on facts. You uncover all this hidden potential, and you can plan out your resources with incredible accuracy.